Drop the price or cover the buyer's closing costs? That's the question that a lot of people are asking today. And I've got an answer that's true 90% of the time, but sometimes there's situations where I give you a different opinion. Stay tuned and I'll give you those situations.
You better get fired up.
Guys, what's going on? Happy Monday. Good to see you. We're here every single Monday at 11 o'clock with What's Hot, where we talk about the hottest things in the real estate market. And lately, we've been having listings stick on the market a little bit longer. And when listings stay on the market a little bit longer, you start to get the questions around what can we do, right? And one of the biggest things that you can do, in fact, the biggest thing by far, is to drop your price. But some people will say, hey, let's just say we're going to drop $10,000. Is it better to drop $10,000 or is it better to offer a $10,000 credit? And then the buyer can do whatever they want. They can drop their closing costs. They can put it towards a rate buy down. They could get new stuff, whether it's appliances or a remodel or a new roof or whatever they want. They can do whatever they want with it, which is going to attract us the offer that we want, right? So I'm going to tell you this, 90% of the time, I'm going to recommend that you do a price reduction. Why? Because a price reduction not only is searchable, while a credit is not searchable. I'll talk about that in a little bit from now. But also, that price searchability is the biggest searched thing, right? People will look up price sometimes before they look up location. They'll look up price before they look up the amount of bedrooms, square footage, does it have a pool? Price is the number one thing driving the decision the majority of the time. For everybody, no, but for the overwhelming majority of people, price is the number one search thing. So if you're at 610, you're missing all the eyeballs of the people looking up to $600,000 in their Zillow search, their Redfin search, their Realtor.com search, right? You could be at 601 and they're not going to see you because they're looking up to $600,000. So for you to drop $10,000, that is an immense impact. Whereas if you stayed at 610 and you put a $10,000 credit on there, you might be thinking, hey, now they can do whatever they want with it, right? They got flexibility. They can use it for the price. They can use it for a rate buy down. They can blah, 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 blah. That's true. But the only way they're going to see that is if they already did the search, you fell within the search, which you wouldn't have at 610 because they searched up to 600 in this example. They looked at the photos because that's the first thing people look at. They like the photos enough to read your verbiage, which even people who like homes a lot of times won't read the verbiage, right? Even on a $600,000 home. That's crazy to me, but it happens. And in the verbiage, you put $10,000 credit. And in addition to that, they have to understand what that means. I'm making this up, but I would guess 10, 15% of people don't understand what that means. So they've got to go through all those steps to find your credit. The odds of that are very slim, okay? So is it helpful? Absolutely, a credit can be helpful, but in most cases, it's going to make sense to drop your price before it's going to make sense to add the credit. So what are my asterisks? If you're at 615 and you're saying you want to give a credit of $10,000 or a price reduction of $10,000, I don't think that's going to put you in a new searching bracket. Nobody searches up to 605 and they would have found you now that you're at 605, but they wouldn't have found you at 615. They're searching up to 6. The next bracket's going to be 6.25. Well, no matter what you do, they're not going to see you if they're only searching up to 6. And no matter what you do, credit or price reduction, they're going to see you if they're searching up to 6.25. So there, if you want to do a credit, it's understandable, right? I'd still do the price reduction, but there it's a little more understandable. Second scenario, if you've got something that the majority of people are going to want or need to be repaired, I'm going to say either offer a credit or just get the doggone thing done. And the doggone thing done is usually either going to be a roof or an AC. There are other things, but those are the two biggest, right? The AC is obviously just for desirability. It's an older AC. Maybe it's not working well. It's on the outs. Maybe it's not working at all. Or the roof If your roof is older, even if it's in good shape, sometimes you're going to have a tough time getting insurance. If you can't get insurance, how are you going to get the loan? If you can't get the loan, you can't close on the property. That's a problem, right? Now, we see another solution. I'm going down a rabbit hole. Another solution for another problem. The seller doesn't have any cash. They will at closing, but they don't have any cash now. So, yeah, I know my roof is $15,000. I know you want a new roof, but I can't afford a new roof. I don't have the cash. I'm sorry. What you can do is the buyer could pay for the roof. This is one option. And you could lower the price accordingly. Like, hey, you're asking $500 for your home. I tell you what, I'll put on the $15,000 roof, but my offer is going to be $485, right? That is understandable. Now, you might say, well, I don't want to pony my money up, and then all of a sudden something happens. I don't get the house. I'm out that money for the roof. I'm at risk. I don't think I want that. So another thing you can do, you've got to coordinate this with your insurance company, your lender, everything else, but you can put money at closing from the proceeds that the seller's getting into an escrow account specifically for, in this example, the roof. So now you can get the roof, the AC, the flooring, whatever it is you wanted done. It's not cash out of your pocket, right? So you're not touching your cash in pocket. And the seller doesn't have to worry about not having money now. They can take the money at closing, put it into an account. Now you've got that money in that account and you can go use it. So that's another option you can do. Now, if insurance is depending on it, generally speaking, you're going to have a timeline, maybe 30 days, 60 days. I haven't done this in a couple months, but I want to say it's roughly 30, 60 days you get. And then if you don't have it by then, your insurance, you don't have insurance anymore, right? You might get dropped, or it might go up drastically. In most cases, though, it's going to get dropped. So you're going to want to get that done. So there's situations, especially if you're in that probably up to 450 range here in Port St. Lucie, and you've got a shingle roof, and it's say 18 years old or older. That's where I'm probably going to push you to get the roof done or offer the credit if you don't have the cash at closing, and they can take care of it, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after closing. That's typically what I'm going to recommend, because in that price range, getting that roof on, that's a rare instance where getting that roof taken care of is a much bigger problem solved for buyers, most buyers, than dropping the price that amount, right? So let's just say a roof is 15 grand. If you offered most people looking at a house that's say 380, do you want the house at 380? Or would you be willing to pay $395, but we'll take care of the roof? I would guess 95% of people are going to say, no, I'll take it at the higher price. I'll take care of the roof. All right. Now, the concern there is it going to appraise at $395? But if the seller doesn't have the cash to put it on and the buyer doesn't have any other way to do it, is it a risk? Sure. But it's a risk that, you're going to have it on any property, right? So what, you got nothing to lose. Let's try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So in most cases, you want to remember searchability. 90% of the time, drop the price. 10% of the time, again, if it's something that most buyers are not going to be able to overlook. Here's another one: beat up carpet. Rest of the house looks great, but you've got 2-3 bedrooms where the carpet's pulling up in the corners. It's got brown stains on it. A lot of sellers are going to say, Joe, I tell you what, we're just going to give a credit. They can change it to whatever they want at closing. We got a quote for $8,000 for the 3 rooms. We'll give an $8,000 credit. Well, here's the thing. They're going to get there. If they didn't read that verbiage, they're not going to know that. And they're going to think this place looks like garbage, right? Or they're going to think, is $8,000 going to cut it? I don't know. Do I want to go out and look for all these bids when I've got these other homes that already have the flooring done and they're just $8,000 more? No, I'd rather go buy these homes at $8,000 more. I don't have to worry about any of it. I don't have to coordinate. I don't have to nothing. So there, I would say, if you've got the $8,000, get the flooring done. Get new flooring in. Yeah, but Joe, they're going to want different. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I see people buy new construction all the time where the builder will not change out the flooring. Yeah, but at closing, I'm just going to come in and rip out that carpet and put in, luxury vinyl. Don't care. Then do it. And they do. Right? They buy the house, they rip out the carpet from their 1-day-old home, and then they put in vinyl or tile or, wood, whatever it is they want to put in there. But you've got to allow them to see something that makes them feel good. Just is what it is. I get a lot of pushback from sellers on that, but I'm telling you, you've got to present. And I'll tell you, just it's not me just saying it. I've worked with builders and I've worked with investors, flippers, and these flippers make the home look great. Is it the highest quality stuff? Nope. Is it a lot of carpet when people want vinyl and tile? Yep. Is it a lot of, cheaper granite when you could pay a little bit more to get quartz and quartz is more liked? Yep. Is it ever a metal roof or a tile roof? Very rarely. It's almost always a shingle roof because you're checking the box for somebody. It's brand spanking new. Your insurance is going to be great. You're not going to have to worry for 20 years, and it's cheap. But you've got to show them what it looks like. Now they feel comfortable. It might not be the perfect thing they want. It might not be the color. It might not be the blah, 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 blah. But that is a way better situation than saying, hey, give them a credit and they can do what they want. I agree with your logic. I agree that logically, if it were me, if it were you, if it were 99% of people, yeah, we would say, well, yeah, we'll take the credit and we'll get it done. I'm just telling you, when it comes to actual execution and people pulling the trigger, when you have the crap carpet and the $8,000 credit, you do not sell that home as often or for as much as you would if you just got the doggone work done for $8,000. You're still out the $8,000. They're still paying, let's say, $8,000 more, but now they're not getting a credit. So it's the same out of their pocket. I'm just telling you, when you get it done, you sell it more often, quicker, and at a higher price. You just do. So again, price reduction 90% of the time, but there's a couple instances where I would say a credit's just fine. Guys, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me. If you've got something that's hot in the market that you'd like me to dig a little bit deeper into, feel free to put it in the comments or send me a DM on Facebook, and I'd be happy to do so. Thanks for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday.